Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have a magnificent guest with us today, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother Oczaveus X. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. Ramadan Mubarak, brother.
Ramadan Kareem, sir. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. This means a lot to myself, my family, as well as the viewing audience of the People's Podcast. The first question that we have for you today, sir, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Well, when I first heard the teachings, brother, it was in 1996. I heard the teachings and I didn't accept. But, I was always, my brother-in-law was already in the ranks and my wife, she was already in the ranks, at the time. And I knew it was something different about her because the way she dressed, the way she talked, and she always had the minister's pictures and all the books up on the shelf, at her apartment. So I was introduced, I would say, in 96, but I didn't join the ranks until 2010.
Okay, yes, sir. Well, praise be to Allah. All right. And what was it about that year in 2010 that made you want to say this is it?
Well, at that time of my life, a lot of times when we out there in the streets and we're doing things that, again, savage, how we say being a savage. It was really me looking at my wife and my family and saying, you know what, I got to get it together and I got to get myself together as a man. So I actually walked in a processing class. Yeah, I just walked to the mosque in Mosque 45. That's where I registered. So I can just walked in, brother, and hey, I'm here 15 years in, And I always tell people, I got this little saying that I say, I met a woman that know the man, that know the man, that know the man. So all praise is due to Allah for her, again, I wouldn't be nothing without her. So, that's my rock, my heart, everything, 21 years of happily being married, brother.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Okay. And how did your family and friends feel once you accepted the teachings?
Well, my families, they like a lot of us having family members, they always gonna have something to say, and it was negative and some was positive. And I just remained steadfast and focused on myself. And I knew what was best for me, as a black man being in this world and coming from the streets and not knowing, not having no guidance, not having no father figure. So, I always say that, the minister is my father, my spiritual father, because without him, you and I wouldn't even be on this line right now, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
beautiful.
I always say that, so for me, it was just, blocking out the negative and looking at the positive and letting them see my growth as a man. Because, when you go to family functions, they had a drinking, they had a smoking. So when you say, oh, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't eat pork, they shocked because that's a world that we come from. Some of us come from that. And when you turn that down, they look at like, well, what's wrong with this dude over here? But it's just becoming a God,
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. And thank you, everyone who's watching all around the world, for showing love. And shout out to our YouTube family as well. The question that many of us have for you is shaking up the social media world, going viral on TikTok. You and your daughter, how did that come about, and where can we see the videos?
Oh, well, brother, listen, a quick story, that all came about because, of course, being in the nation, being the FOI, we soldiers, we're militant. And when the pandemic came around, that's when we just started having fun. Again, I came up dancing. I came up in the entertainment world. So once the pandemic hit, I kind of let my guard down and say, you know what? Let me have fun with my daughter and it's a father-daughter bonding through, again, the lens of social media. But me and her are like that in real life. Like that's our day to day. Like just that bond is there, just being the best father that I can be, to her, giving her the best guidance, and just having fun and just being able to touch the people around the world is a beautiful thing. In the comments, a lot of people, you take for granted that they don't have their fathers in their life.
Mm.
A lot of us are fatherless when you talk about the young women and the young men. So them sharing that, what they feel, is very important to me and my daughter. So we do it for fun. We like to bring smiles to people's faces, make them feel good, whether they feeling down, that they might be down that time, or they might be just thinking about their father, and me and her pop up on their screen, and they get happy.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. And Sister Miriam says, peace, family. Peace. Naima says, Assalamu family. Alaikum salam, Naima. Thank you all for watching. My sister Naima is the one who sends me all of you all's videos so much. She's been talking about y'all since I didn't see our
Man,
first one viral. Yeah,
tell
so
tell my sister thank you, man. And again, Josh, it's nothing but love for you and your family, brother. We love you. We love all y'all, brother. And just please get a greetings to the family, brother. And hey, brother, I love you, little bro. You know that.
yes, sir. I love you more, sir. And this is what I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you about your businesses. You've always been putting on events, and now you told me that you travel dealing with mentorship and Black male leadership. How did that come about?
Well, my brother Derek out of Houston, he has this Black Male Summit. And then me and my wife, our foundation is Tees, our nonprofit, and we mentor young youth, young Black men. And what we do is we do like a lot of it would be talk about, the bullying aspect, keeping them out of the streets, things of that nature. But we partner with our brother Derek, and he had the Black Male Youth Summit, him and Silky Slim and Brother Keon. So what we did, we partnered with them to host these events. We do Houston, and we've done Miami a few times, and we're just looking at Spain to come to Atlanta. We want to go to Baltimore. A lot of few different cities that we're gonna do, inshallah, this year. And we're just trying to do what Allah put in our heart, brother, to do, and that just change the mindset of our youngins and try to keep them out of the grave and out of the prison.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent. Thank you, everyone who's watching. Sister Miriam says, thank you for the joy you bring to social media. Sister Naima says, yes, they are so adorable. Love the father-daughter bond. Excellent. Yes, sir. And I wanted to ask you about what advice would you give to the young generation about staying out of prison and staying out of the streets?
Well, I would say this, that first and foremost, we have to come into the mindset of thinking before we react, right? If we're in if you're with a group of friends and they're doing wrong, just try to steer away from them. And I know peer pressure is a lot when it comes to the younger generation because they have the social media. They always want to be how the youngest say, they want to be the first ones to cap about something, right? They want to say, oh, well, so and so doing this, and you make a big stink about it. I would just say, refocus, and really think about your life. Think about who you're gonna hurt. Think about the consequences because there's always consequences. You got to have accountability. So if JoJo going to rob the store, if you can't talk him about going to rob that store, you shouldn't go with him. We have to start putting in these youth that you do have choices. We do have choices. You don't have to go with the in crowd just because so and so over there getting the bag and so over there hustling, and they might be making $1,000 a day. That don't make them cool because they're making that. You could go and buy you some candy, some sodas, and you can get on the street and you can hustle the same way.
Excellent, excellent. And and once again, thank you for your transparency, and thank you all who are watching. I wanted to ask you about fear. Have you ever been faced with fear? And if so, how have you overcome that fear?
Yes, sir. I've been faced with fear, and at that time, again, I wasn't in the ranks when I was faced with that fear, and I just said to myself, listen, if I die today, then that's what it is. But at the same time, you be fearful when you do it wrong because, for an example, if you hustling and the police come, your fear is you ain't trying to go to jail that day. You know what I'm saying? Your fear is, hey, I need to make it home, or my mama gonna do this, or my mama gonna say this back then. So I would say that that being fearful, that was the things of being in the streets. I was fearful of going to jail, been in jail a few times, but then
Mm.
once you start going, it's like let's go, okay, whatever. Then you feel like you're not fearful no more. But one of the things now, what happened when I was in the ranks that I was fearful of a few times, that I had a little health scare. So I definitely was fearful when I had to go sit in that hospital, and I really had to get on How to Eat to Live, and I had to shout
Mm.
out my doctor, brother Dr. Keely Muhammad. Hey, we getting into the bosom of How to Eat to Live, so we're not just talking about it. We're really living it now. I have to say that this Ramadan has been very special and very beautiful to me, for me. You know.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah. Yes, sir. Shout out to the doctor. Shout out to How to Live. I wanted to ask you about going to jail. What are some of the things that you saw, or something that you saw inside that can help maybe prevent somebody from having to follow in those footsteps to go in and think this is a rites of passage or something that you got to prove.
I mean, one of the things should be, man, you don't want to be in no 10 by 10 cell with no men, grown men, stinking men at that, stinking, don't smell good. You have to use the bathroom. That's discouraging right there. You know what I'm saying? Being in that den, when they in there fighting, you got to be on guard, and you don't know if somebody gonna stab you or shank you or anything like that. So that, I would say, like, the mentality has to shift to say, I love my freedom being out here in the real world, and I don't have to sleep next to a man that you don't know. You don't know if you're gonna wake up in the morning, or you don't know if you're gonna get raped. Just being honest. So that's what I would say about that aspect of it. And listen, jail ain't no fun. I'm not going to jail. No time, no way, no how, no sir, buddy, oh pal.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. And well, speaking once you got out and you spoke about 21 years of marriage, what advice would you give to future husbands?
I would say this what I would say about giving to future husbands. We have to listen to our wives. All we have to do is be listeners, brother. And let's try to embody communication. Communication is very key. But I look at our father, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and Mother Khadijah, and I just strive to embody that love and embody that heart, because if we take on the minister's heart, sky's the limit for us, brother. And that's the honest truth. So I would say my 21 years of marriage, and we all go through our trials, but I thank Allah for the good, and I thank Allah for the bad. But they're gonna say, well, why the bad, brother Oczaveus? Because the bad, what makes us great. The bad is what makes you know that you can make it through the next day, the next years, the next months. So I would just say, listen to your wife. Just listen. That's all we got to do. Be listeners. I'm not. I'm becoming a good listener now, but I haven't been a good listener throughout my 21 years of marriage.
Yes, sir. Well, that's definitely
Those
some
are the
great
2 points.
advice.
Listen and communicate. Listen
Mm.
and communicate. That's it.
Yes, sir. Great advice. Brother Kente says, Assalamu alaikum, dear family. Walaikum salam, Brother Kente. And shout out to our YouTube family, Brother Musa, Sister Auntie, Sister Hope, all of the sponsors. We thank you for every like, share, subscription, every anonymous cash app to the People's Podcast. We got a great promotional video that will be up this week with all of the new sponsors of the season. And we just thank you all for every cash app, every sponsorship. Thank you very much. Right back to our brother. I wanted to ask you, sir, about trials. What has been the greatest trial in your life, and how have you overcome that trial?
Um, the greatest trial in my life was losing loved ones. I would say
Mm.
losing loved ones, people that I really love, and overcoming them. Would one would be me embodying the bond with my daughter and just dancing on TikTok, because a lot of times when a lot of us deal with death differently, and for me it was food. I would always just go to food. I always share these things like, as we're taught, we all have an addiction. Some of us have sex, some is drinking, some is smoking, and food is a component, believe it or not,
Yes, sir.
because I would always be sneak eating. When I leave, I would sneak eat. So the complication of that led to me having the health issues that I have, but overcoming them is really getting in that book, How to Eat to Live. Like, being real, brother. Like, your brother was weighing 258 pounds. Now I'm down to 217 pounds. And that's all praise due to Allah, brother. All praise due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Ms. Louis Farrakhan, and my doctor again, Dr. Keeley, just implementing the How to Eat to Live. So throughout my trials, I just take them on the chin, and I try to move forward. Try to stay happy. Dancing is my happiness with my daughter, for real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And cooking as well. Like, I love to
Okay.
cook with her, so I do a lot of cooking as well too.
Okay. Okay. And okay, I want to stay on that point about the dancing. Um, Brother Alicia El Muhammad says, Assalamu alaikum, family. Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem, sir. And thank you, everyone who was watching. So, speaking of dancing, that's a form of therapy for me as well. I enjoy doing it, or with acting and performing, just from the theater background. What advice would you give to the brothers, to men? Because I would have, some very tough militant, soldiers with me, and I'm like, hey, y'all want to come audition for my play? And they're like, you want me dancing this? I'm like, bro, I'm telling you. And then when they came, it was one of the greatest experiences they've had, because it's something about when you can, switch from being in, kill war mode to being able, now I'm on stage and I'm doing, dancing. What advice would you give to, just other men about how important dancing is to stay in balance?
I would say embrace our talent, and as long as we're not getting out of character, right? Certain, you see certain dance moves, they're out of character, but as embrace it and have fun, because we only live once, brother. And being that I come from the entertainment, I come from a dancing background as well. So I'm always eager to have fun with my daughter. And now that my brothers dance, okay, so now we got to link in. We can have fun, because we could be militant, but we also can have fun as well. And that's really what it's showing. I wanted to show the world that real men and soldiers still have fun. So don't get it twisted. We can have fun, but don't get it twisted. We still over. You know what time of day it is on that left side.
Yes, sir. And speaking of that, one of the artists that I have behind me he goes by the name of Hammer, but formerly MC Hammer, and I learned so much about him on YouTube interviews where he one of the greatest performers. I'd say top 5 performers, male performers of all time, easy dancing, do. But everybody was talking about how tough he was and how he represented Oak. So you don't know that because you only see him as the dancing side. And
That's
he's like,
right.
man, everybody was like, man, don't play with Hammer. Suge Knight was like, nah, Hammer was one of them. I'm like, okay, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So you never
Yes,
know. So yeah, for
yes, sir.
sure.
Yes, sir. I mean, and they say the same, about me as well. Being that coming up in Miami, being in the entertainment business, dancing, up under, Uncle Al. Uh, may Allah be pleased with him, and dancing coming from up under Uncle Luke. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think a lot of times, a lot of people used to get it twisted. And when I was in a dance group, they used to always call me. My favorite move is the Five Heartbeats, and they
Okay,
used to
okay.
used to say that I was the Eddie Kane minus the drugs. So
Okay.
yes, I mean, I would just say embrace it, brothers. Like, let's have fun, Like, and it's a time and place for everything. Like, I'm not gonna be out in the public and dancing in front of the public. No, I'm not gonna do that. Like just springing out. If it's an event and we're going somewhere to have fun, then yeah, I might cut a once, two, little two steps, but I'm gonna always be conscious of the security mindset.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's go back to Uncle Luke. You said you used to dance with him, work with him.
Yeah, Uncle Luke. Yes, sir. I used to dance with Uncle Luke. I used to dance.
That's tight. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, praise be to
Yes,
the
sir.
Lord. Yes, sir. Okay, so when you say you dance with Uncle Luke, so you saying don't stop, get that Uncle Luke. That's
Yes,
crazy.
yes,
All right. Okay, I would have never known. Praise be to. That's what I'm saying. You seem so serious. I never would know. I want to rock. I want to rock. I want to.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I never would have got that. I never got that. That's beautiful that you still have that. That you still like to dance and enjoy yourself as that for a while. I wanted to ask. Speaking of Uncle Luke, favorite albums of all time. What would you say your favorite album of all time is?
Of all times,
Yes, sir.
it don't have to be Luke though, right?
No, 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 no. I was just using that as a segue in. No, of course not.
Ah man, well I ain't gonna do favorite album, but my favorite artist of all time is Tupac.
Okay, okay,
That's Pac. That's it. You know, and then I'm gonna have to go with I go with DMX,
okay, okay, okay,
8 Ball and MJG.
okay, okay.
And then of course, you know, being from the South, I'm gonna have to say Trick,
Okay, you
T.I.,
can't go wrong with Trick Daddy Dollar. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Trick, T.I., Killer Mike,
Yes, sir. Killer Mike.
Outkast, um, who else? Who else I be rocking? Oh, now the younger generation. I like Rod Wave.
Okay, okay.
I like Lil Durk.
Like Lil Durk, shout out Lil Durk.
Yeah. So and then I mess with this other little youngin. What's the youngin? I can't think his name. I can't think of the youngin name right now. Oh no, I like J. Cole too. J. Cole,
Can't go wrong with J. Cole.
J. Cole, Kendrick.
Kendrick, yes, sir.
You know, so those are my you know the ones I really be vibing with.
Excellent. Yes, sir. And okay, thank you for that great music list. And Sister Anita Rose, I was thinking for Sister Anita and Brother Kennard from Indianapolis. Shout out to our Indianapolis family and shout out to your children. I don't know all their names, but I got to meet them at Savior's Day. It was an honor to take a picture with them. Yes, sir. All right. I wanted to ask you one more question, sir. What has been the greatest joy in your life?
Man, the greatest joy in my life, honestly, brother, is being married to this beautiful black woman and having my beautiful daughter, like for real. Like that's the greatest joy being married, brother, to a real woman. You know what I'm saying? A real woman, man, is just standards are high. A MGT. You know, I can't get no better than that, brother. And just one of the great another joy too is just seeing our daughter join the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing her join the ranks, brother, like that, you know, that was one of the biggest and the most joyful moments of my life, you know. And I say memory. I said moments, but correction, I like to say memories because we create memories, not moments, you know. And yeah, that's it, bro.
Yes, sir. And well, actually, one more question for you. What would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Oh man, look at you, boy. Listen, I just would love to just, you know, again, pass the torch on to my children and just hopefully, you know, inshallah that they see that the great man that their father became, you know, at the age that I'm at now, and not look at the bad that I've done, but look at the good and look at where I'm striving to be right now and be a God, you know.
Excellent. And on that positive note, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. And thank you also for your many sacrifices of you and your family to help establish Islam here in North America. Thank you, everyone who's watching. On behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, this is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off. Thank you all very much. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
Yes, sir. Ramadan Mubarak. I look forward to seeing you in person again, inshallah. I just want to make sure we got that on the record that when we were in Miami at that event, that festival, you showed nothing but love. And it was
Yes, sir.
because of me meeting you in person. I don't know how many times we met. I think that might have been the only time may have met you. But that love from that meeting with such a genuine brotherhood. I was like, man, I met one of the coolest people I ever met in my life in Miami. So praise be to the Lord. So thank you for showing that. And shout out to your family. And thank you everyone for watching. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, brother Josh. Thank you so much, brother.
Yes, sir. The honor is mine.
Walaikum salam.